Good morning, my lovelies. Welcome to Craft Apple today. My name is Caroline, and today we are going to do the abbreviated version of the Starlike Snowflake. This is what it looks like. This is a pattern by Virginia Jordan. I really like this pattern because it is basic. It uses only 3 different kinds of beads. These 8mm ones here and here, these 2.5mm ones here and here, and these white tri-beads. It also uses a technique that's very common in other beading projects where you work in a circle and then do things off the circle. So this is going to be the accelerated version of this. If you haven't done beadwork before, or if you are brand new to crafting, go check out my other video on this, the long version, because I go into explicit detail. I give you tricks and techniques to not let your beads fall all over everywhere. I put on every single bead with you so that you won't get lost or lose your place. You get to see me make a mistake there at the end, or all of my beads fall off. That's always exciting. Life is always throwing you curveballs, folks. So today I'm going to do the accelerated version, the abbreviated version, which means I'm going to go fast, and it's meant to be a refresher for those of you who've already done my long video, or for those who have already done beadwork of some sort in the past. So I'm only going to put on 2 spikes with you, the first one and the last one. And the last one because we put this hanger on, so it's a little bit different. And yeah, that's basically it. We're gonna go around the circle, and then put on all of the arms and the hanger on the last arm, and then tie off. It's pretty simple. So I'm gonna adjust my camera so that it's looking down at my project, and I will be back with you momentarily. Alrighty, folks, I'm back with you. I'm putting all my materials down here in this blue tray, which I will probably move out of the way here in a minute because it'll help my camera to focus better on what's going on in my hands. In my tray, I've got a yard of 20-pound monofilament. I've got 10 8mm gold beads. I've got 26 4mm gold beads, and I've got 50 white tri-beads. And there's a piece of ribbon around here somewhere. If you buy a kit from me, those are ready off my Etsy site. And you will get everything that you see in my tray here. Comes in a little bag like this. Tells you what's in there, has a little picture, and you flip it over and there's all your stuff. There is a ribbon in there. Well, there's supposed to be a ribbon in there. Apparently I forgot to put the ribbons in these. I'll have to go back and make sure I do that. But that should come with either a gold ribbon or a white ribbon. I'll put gold until I run out of gold, and then I'll put in white. So those are available on my Etsy site. Go to Etsy and then just look for Craft Apple. It should pop up. I'll also link it down in the description. Alrighty, so without further ado, let's get going on this. So to put on the center ring, we're going to do the center ring first. So we're going to alternate 8mm, 2 tri-beads, 8mm, 2 tri-beads, 8mm, 2 tri-beads, 8mm, 2 tri-beads, 8mm, 2 tri-beads. So 5 8mm beads and 5 pairs of tri-beads. So let's get going on that here. 8mm, 2 tri-beads, 8mm. Now, just as a note, I am holding these in my left hand so that they don't disappear on me, because I don't want them to fall off my other end. So you may want to do something like put a chip clip or a binder clip or a clothespin or something on your fishing line, you know, a foot or 2 down, so that they don't fall off onto the floor or onto your table or wherever. Alright, so back to this. We got 2 gold ones and 2 tri-beads, or 1 pair of tri-beads, so I need another pair of tri-beads. 8mm. Yeah, I'm totally going to move this out of the way, folks. Two tri-beads. 8mm. Two tri-beads. Another 8mm. And another two tri-beads. Sorry, I just rinsed my nose out with saline. That's kind of gross, but like it's draining now, so I'll be sniffing. All right, so now I have a row of gold, white, gold, white, gold, white, gold, white, gold, white, 5 golds and 5 pairs of white. And I'm going to make a ring, so I'm going to circle this back on itself and line up my end just so it's lying right beside, and scoot my beads onto that working end again. That's what works really well for me, is to just scoot them over once I line that up. Usually. You'll notice I'm pulling on my working end a little bit so that I can have a little bit more slack in my ring. Okay, now I'm all the way, oh, almost. All right, now I'm all the way back at the beginning. You can see that I've got, it looks kind of like a French horn here. I got my tail end on one side of the ring. Well, the string is in a ring. The beads are still kind of in a line. But my working end is coming out of one end, and my tail end is coming out the other end, and I am going to tighten up my ring by crossing those two, the tail end and the working end, and pulling. Now, if you've done beadwork before, you might say, well, Caroline, why aren't you going back through, one of these other beads? And that's a really, really good question. And the answer is because I don't want to have to go around the ring one more time to find this tail. This tail is where we're going to tie off at the end, and I want it to be right there when I finish. And actually, I am going to go through one more because I want my working end to be coming through the pair of tri-beads. So yeah, if you manage to do it, I am going to have to go all the way around, back around the circle now, but because otherwise I'd need this to be my working end. No, oh, I could do that. I could just tug my tail end until it's long enough to be my working end, and now the other end is short. So that's better, because then I'll end right here and can just tie off. Okay, at this point we're going to start putting on the arms. So the arms are 4 tri-beads, and then 8mm, and then this is our locking bead here, our 4mm. We go back through this 8mm and then put on 4 more tri-beads before going through these middle 2. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to put on 4 tri-beads. Now my camera is wanting to focus on my work, so I'm going to scoot it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, my 8mm, my locking 4mm. I'm going to turn a U-turn with my string and go back through this 8mm bead. I'm going to tighten that up by pulling or holding this bead so that the slat can still move through it, and then pulling on my working end until it cinches up. Now I am not going to worry about getting this arm tight because it'll tighten up as soon as I pull back on my tail end. And if I try and tighten it, it's just going to, what is going on here? Something is wrong. No, it's not. It's fine. Okay, so yeah, if I try and tighten that up, it's just gonna steal my tail away. I don't want that. Okay, so now we're gonna put on 4 more. The back side of our spike, we're gonna put on 4 more tri-beads. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am going to go through the next pair of tri-beads in my ring. So you'll see my working end, it was coming out over here. And now the next bead in the ring is this gold one here. And then the next pair of tri-beads is here. And we're going to just go through those again. And I am going to totally hold on to this tail end right now because it is wanting to come out. It's being tricky today. Okay, there we go. Okay, and now it's time to put on the rest of the arms. So I am going to pause this video and have you go ahead and do the second, third, and fourth arms by yourself. It's just the same as the first one, so if you need guidance on that, go ahead and go back, rewind the video, and watch me do the first one again. And then I'll join you back up when we're ready to do the fifth arm, and we'll put on the hanger together. Alrighty, I'll see you in a few. Alright folks, you should have 4 spikes on your star now, or 4 arms, and your fishing line should be coming through these last tri-beads here with only 1 8mm bead that doesn't have an arm over top of it. So we're going to put on our 4 tri-beads and our 8mm bead like we normally do. So let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8mm. And now here's where I was wrong when I was telling you about what came in the kit. Because we're putting a bead hanger on there, you're not going to get a ribbon in the kit. So, my bad. Alright, now we're going to put on all the rest of the gold beads that you got in your kit, or else 22 or something, however many you want to put on, frankly, to make your hanger. You can put on just like 4 so that you can put on like a regular Christmas tree hook or whatever, or you can put on 50 and make a really big loop, or any number in between. It doesn't matter that much, but I'm putting on 22. I'm not going to count them though. Like I'm gonna put them on until the beads are gone from my tray and call it good, because it doesn't need to be like super precise. This is kind of a matter of taste. In fact, in the book, in Virginia Jordan's book, where she has this ornament, I think she only has like 6 or 8 beads on her hanger, and I don't like to put 6 or 8 beads on a hanger and then put another hanger on it, because 6 or 8 beads is not going to go around a tree branch. Instead, I'd rather put on a long hanger that's actually going to go around a tree branch and have it look more professional, I guess. I have a thing about things looking professional. I just know this about myself. I've learned it over the course of the last decades. So I'm just really quickly putting all these beads on. You can go slower. No skin off my nose. You can pause the video and take as long as you need to. Alright, that's my last little gold one, my last 4mm gold one. So now I'm going to turn a U-turn again and go back through my 8mm bead like we normally do. And this time I'm going to hold the 8mm bead when I cinch this up. Yep, there we go. Nice and cinched. Okay, and then I'm going to put on my last 4 tri-beads. There we go, my last 4 are on there. And now I'm going to go through these 2 tri-beads right here, which are the last 2 that I put on in my initial loop. And you'll notice that when I get my string through, I'm right beside my tail. So I can just tie a little knot there. Alright, so this is made out of fishing line, like you are already aware. What you may not be aware of is that fishing line is pesky. It's really slippery, so it doesn't like to stay tied in knots. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the fishing line until it stretches, and then relax it, let it relax back into the knot. So, and I'm going to tie a square knot, which is when you tie it with left over right, and then right over left, and then left over right, and then right over left, instead of tying a series of half knots, left over right, left over right, left over right, left over right, which might be called a granny knot in your world, because a square knot is more stable, so it's going to do a better job of keeping your string from coming unknotted. So there I just did left over right. Now this is the same kind of knot that you tie in your shoe. So if you know how to tie a shoe, you're golden here. Now I'm going to do right over left. I'm going to make sure that my knots don't, get caught on any of these tri-bead points. I'm going to actually wrap my fingers around the fishing line so that I can get a good grip on it and just pull on it till it stretches and then let it relax. Then I'm going to do left over right again. And again, wrap it around my fingers and pull so that it stretches. And I think I'm going to call it good with just that triple knot. If you want to tie one more, go right ahead, right over left this time. And that's done. So my side cutters are sitting right here instead of scissors, but you can use scissors to cut this fishing line. That works perfectly well. I'm going to use my side cutters just because they're standing right here. Standing. They're not standing. They're lying right here. And there you go. Starlike Snowflake by Virginia Jordan. I hope you enjoyed that project. I really love this ornament. And I did buy only white tri-beads to make this because I thought the white and gold would be really, really pretty together. And now that I see it together, I agree with my initial assessment that it's really pretty. So that's what I bought to put in your kits, white and gold. And those are available on my Etsy site if you want to buy one of those. I forget what I listed it for, $2 or $3, one or the other. Alrighty, that's today's episode. I will see you again another time. Happy crafting!